Today's lesson is about adding and subtracting mixed number fractions. Now, you don't always have a long list of these in a combination, but just some strategies to kind of keep in mind. The very first thing, obviously, when we're adding or subtracting any kind of fractions is we've got to find the common denominator. So take a look at the 2, the 4, the 8, and the 16. You want to be thinking of multiples of 2, multiples of 4, multiples of 8, and multiples of 16. Okay, what's the first common multiple, lowest common multiple, otherwise known as the least common denominator? Well, obviously we're going to use 16. Okay, so if I multiply these two numbers by 8, and you should be able to do it in your head, that will change this into 2 and 8/16. Now think about it. 8 over 16, yep, that's another name for a half. Okay, this will be 6 and 4 times 4 in both cases. Alright, so that'd be 12/16. Then we have 7, and it looks like we're going to double each of those to get the correct denominator. 8 times 2, 5 times 2, so it'd be 10/16. Alright, same thing here with the next fraction because it's eighths again, so I'm going to double each of those, so it'd be 2/16. And finally, 1 and 7/16. That's not going to change. Alright, so what I want to first talk about is the strategy here. If I start trying to subtract 2 and 8/16 take away 6 and 12/16. Well, obviously, we're going to end up with a negative amount there. Okay, so I'm going to just focus on the positive ones. Alright, I'm going to circle just the positive ones here. And let's go ahead and add those together. And then we'll do our subtracting. Alright, so 2 and 8/16, 7 and 10/16, and 2 and 2/16. At this point, go ahead and pause the video if you're ready to move on. You want to add all those positive fractions together and then do some subtracting here. Okay, give it a try if you'd like. Hit pause and then come back. Alright, now if I look at my fractions, 8/16, 10/16, and 2/16, that would be 20/16. And then 2 and 7 and 2 make 11. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and leave it in that form because I know it's a top-heavy fraction, an improper fraction. Sure, I could simplify it, but it's possible that we might have to borrow from this to do our subtracting. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at this fraction here and this mixed fraction here. So I've got 6 and 12/16. Notice that I was trying to subtract that. I'm also trying to subtract 1 and 7/16. Alright, I'm going to basically take care of the added fractions first, then the subtracted fractions. Okay, now I'm going to add these together, but since I'm subtracting them, it's going to end up with a negative mixed number. Okay, in other words, I'm going to take this answer, take away this answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and say 12 and 7 is 19. And 16th is my denominator, and 6 and 1 is 7. Okay, so you can think of this in the original problem as a positive plus a negative plus a positive plus a positive plus a negative. Okay, or positive, subtract another one, add another one, add another one, subtract another one. Whether you think of them as positives or negatives, or basically adding and subtracting, the result will be the same. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this with the space I have over here. 11 and 20/16 minus 7 and 19/16. Okay, now thankfully I do not have to borrow, but that is something I should check. 20 take away 19, yep, I can do that. That'll leave only 1/16, and 11 take away 7 is 4. Alright, so the point of this whole thing is when you have a long list of positives and negatives, or addings and subtractings, take care of the positives first, take care of the negatives next, and then it becomes one subtraction problem to get the final answer. All right, I hope you did okay.